Line's good.
Never on.
Close.
Hard. Hardly.
Come on, Brent.
Line's good.
Got real close.
The hair high, right?
Try and hit 2/3.
Have they saved it for her? Yes, they have.
Ooh, welcome to Game of Stones, everybody. I am Sean Graham Scott, socially distancing as always. Hello, Scott.
As always, Sean, I'm here.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Knocking stuff
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, no, I just bumped my head on the mic. No big deal.
Scott,
I was trying to.
we actually saw each other today, though.
I know it's been a long time.
Yeah, from a very socially distant 6 or 7 feet, whatever it was. We were on the opposite side of your cars. We stood in the parking lot of the Ottawa Curling Club, Scott.
Yeah, it was a bit of a bittersweet day. One of those days when you go to the club to clean out your locker after it's been sitting for the last 4 months.
Yeah, regular occurrence. Happens every year.
Yeah. And you know what? It didn't smell too bad down there. I was expecting worse.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed that the locker room was not super objectionable. It's always kind of objectionable, but wasn't super objectionable. And I found, too, I had to go to the front of the club, went in the back door, I had to go all the way to the front of the club. Really a very distinguished wood smell in there, I felt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure they clean all the wood, at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Do a
Get
deep
that-
clean. So,
get that
yeah.
pine saw going. So, no, but it was nice. Get some stuff out, be able to do a laundry of the stuff that was in the locker. And I keep flip-flops in the club for the winter because the club makes you take your shoes off. And I don't like walking around in my socks. So I just keep the flip-flops there. But in the summer, I do tend to wear them outside, and then I give them a scrub down before I take them into the club. So it was nice to get those out. Wearing them right now, Scott, as I sit outside here in Ottawa, because I had to flee my apartment because the internet broke.
Yeah. You're making me think now, Sean. I forgot to pick up my sneakers that I leave there
Oh, geez,
at the front door.
Jeez, that's like the one reason I really wanted to go.
Oh, man.
Flip-flops.
Yeah, damn. Mine was to get my shirt, but oh well. At least I'll know they'll be there in the fall if we get it in the fall. And Sean, being back at the Ottawa Curling Club,
Yeah.
reminded us of an event that we took in at the Ottawa Club last year.
Yeah, so last year in March, we had the opportunity to head over to the club during the 2019 Gay Nationals, which is a bonspiel that is run annually, and it shifts across the country to every city where there is a LGBTQ plus club. And this year it was in Vancouver. It just sort of rotates, and the time of year always corresponds with the local bonspiel in that city, if they have one. I'm pretty sure they all have one. So Ottawa's spiel is always in March. So last year it was run in March in conjunction with the Over the Rainbow bonspiel, which happens every year at the Ottawa Curling Club. So yeah, we had the opportunity, Scott, to take it in. It was a pretty fun event.
Yeah, it was super fun. Went to take in some of the excellent curling that takes place there. Saw some friends from the club. Hung out for a bit. We saw Lisa Wiggle and Emma Miskew there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
They came to support their friends, and yeah, it was a good time overall. We stayed a lot longer than I thought we would.
I mean, part of that was because you just couldn't move. Like, once you got into the club, it was hard to get out just because of the volume of people. Like, we got there relatively early, and it still wasn't that busy. But by the time, like, we were watching the end of a game, and the club had sort of filled in behind us, so it was kind of hard to maneuver your way out in those times where you could get close to people.
Yeah, I vaguely remember them.
Yeah. So it was a good time. So we thought that as we record this now on June the 30th, last day of Pride Month, we thought it'd be fun to revisit the 2019 Gay Nationals and just talk about the LGBTQ clubs across the country. And we called up a friend of ours, Daniel Ng, who participated in the Gay Nationals last year as part of one of the Ottawa teams. He's a guy, Scott, that I have played with. When I started at the Ottawa Curling Club, I was on the spares list for Thursdays and he was skipping a team, and they asked me to play a couple times, and then when he left the team, they asked me to come in, take a spot, not as the skip, of course, but that's fine.
Of course not.
And I certainly don't take it personally that when I was coming on board, he left. I'm sure those two things are unrelated, at least in my head. So it was nice to talk to Daniel, but because, as I said, my internet broke, I was unable to talk to him. But Scott, you had the chance to talk to him.
Yeah, and if you can sense some difficulties Sean's having now, it's because he's on an unfamiliar Wi-Fi. But yeah, I got the chance to talk to him, and he had a lot of good things to say. So why don't we take a listen to that? All right, thanks a lot. We're here with Daniel Ng today to talk about some of his experiences at Gay Nationals 2019, which Sean and I were in attendance for. So welcome, Daniel. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Sean and I went down to the Ottawa Curling Club where the event was held last year, just to check out the scene, see what was going on, watch some good curling. Why don't you tell me about your team and how you got involved with that?
Yeah, sure. So I was the lead on my team. We were Ottawa 2. So Joey Taylor was the other Ottawa team. They were the defending champions going in. So my team, my skip was Ryan Corso, and then we had Scott Hindle at third and Jeremy Sheff at second, and I was the lead. And we talked about going to the Nationals a couple of years ago, and we actually went to the Nationals in Calgary the year before. We had a different third back then, but so it kind of started that way, and then we knew that it was going to come to Ottawa in last year, so we thought that we would give it another try after that. Mm-hmm. So it started like that, and obviously because it was in Ottawa, we had a lot of teams from Ottawa who wanted to go to the Ottawa one, so it was actually a pretty long road for us to qualify for the Ottawa one. I think we played like 5 games in the Ottawa qualifier just to qualify for it.
Wow.
So that was an event in itself back in January, and then we finally qualified as Ottawa 2, and that's how it all got started.
Oh, right on. And so how did you end up doing?
We did pretty well, actually. We came in 6th in the end. I think, as you know, it was a double knockout to the Page playoff. Yes. So we got knocked out, I think, pretty close to the Page playoff. I think just 1 game before that, or 1 or 2 games before that. But we went into the consolation round, they called it, and we went all the way to the final of the consolation. But what was interesting was that we lost 3 games in the event, but all 3 games we lost were to the same team.
No way.
So they obviously had our number, and we didn't know what to do with them. But I guess it was just unlucky for us that we kept on running into the same team.
Yeah, that's tends to be the way sometimes. I'm sure there's some pro teams we can talk about that. Just ask Brendan Botcher about their team running into some buzzsaws. So that sounds like you had a good time. Can you tell us when you got involved with curling and sort of how you got involved in the club?
Yeah, I started curling when I was 13, I think. Basically, I just watched it on TV, and then I thought what a weird sport it was. But it got me interested. So I actually talked to my teacher back then, and she found a curling club near our school. So I started that way, and I've been curling ever since. And how I got involved with the Rainbow Club here was I moved to Ottawa in 2013. And back then I was looking to curl, but I didn't really know anyone here. And I found, just searching online, I found that there was a Rainbow League here. And it really piqued my interest because sometimes I feel like when you just go to a new city and you go join a new curling club and you don't know anyone there, it could be kind of hard. Mm-hmm. to jump right in. But knowing that there's kind of like a safe space for LGBT plus folks here, it kind of made that transition easier. So I actually, the first year I joined the club and I met a bunch of people here. And that's how I actually got into the actual leagues in the Ottawa Curling Club the second year.
That's a great story. What sort of leagues had you played in before? Had you been part of a Rainbow League in the other cities where you lived?
No. So I was from Markham originally, a suburb in Toronto. So I played my junior years there. And then I went to London, Ontario, and lived there for a few years for university. There wasn't a Rainbow Club there, so I just joined in the local clubs there, which was fun. But it's always in the context of being gay. It's always kind of have to tread lightly. I never really like know if I should be full out open with everyone, or how they would react. Mm-hmm. So coming to Ottawa and being able to find this Rainbow League, it just helped with that transition to new city and being able to finally kind of not care about what other people think.
Right. And when you go to other clubs and play against other teams, do you find that opening atmosphere is similar in other places that have Rainbow Leagues? Like when you mentioned you went to Calgary for nationals, do you find that the same as what you found here in Ottawa?
Oh, for sure. I think in general, actually even outside of the LGBT plus community, I think in general the curling community is really friendly, and you can be, everyone is really open. When I go to other cities and I play in other spills, it was never an issue whether being gay or not. But when I went to Calgary, that was a really fun experience, because the one in Calgary, it wasn't just a curling bonspiel. They actually the curling spiel is part of a bigger multi-sport event. They're called the Western Cup. So you get to actually mingle with people from other sports as well, from across the country, from different LGBTQ leagues. So that was a really fun experience.
Yeah, that sounds great. We talked a few weeks ago to some curlers from the U.S. about their reactions when they went into a club being black curlers. I'm sort of struggling with the question here, but have you ever met any kind of that resistance within the curling community at large, or has it always been pretty open for you?
It's like I said, I found the curling community in general been really friendly and really open. I have to say, unfortunately, there were a few instances when I was younger where there were definitely some pretty offensive remarks around the table regarding just the gay community in general. But I think that's a really small minority of what the community is. I think in general, everyone that I've met in curling has been really open and really positive. So I would say, yeah. When I was younger, I was more hesitant to be just open about who I am and that I'm gay. But I think now, walking into any club, I wouldn't have any problem.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. I always think of the Rainbow Leagues as a super important part of any club, especially a club that's in a city. Serving as a safe space for anybody who wants to come. And I'm glad to hear that for you. Getting back to the nationals side of things, you mentioned you only lost to one team 3 times, but
yeah.
How was the overall level of competition in gay nationals compared to, say, an average club league, open league or something?
I think the level at the national is pretty high. I say In the say like at the Ottawa Curling Club, I would think it's at least in the A side of pretty much every league. I've only played in the Thursday Men's League, but I would think the level of play is definitely at the best end of it, if not even a little bit above that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good level.
Yeah, that's really good level. Have you had a chance to watch any of the Cash League games and sort of compare that, or just Thursday is your experience?
Really, Thursday is my experience. I haven't been out to any cash game league, so I don't know firsthand the level. But I've heard that. I know the curlers that play in that league, so I don't think it's the same. I probably like the teams that play in the nationals can probably compete in the cash league. I don't know if we would win regularly, but against some of the the higher teams there, but I think we could compete for sure.
Oh, that's good. That's when I was there watching, it seemed a pretty good level of curling. Like I would say above me. So whether that's saying anything or not to our audience, I'm not sure.
A way to look at it is it's a regular occurrence that there are draws going right to the button. There are double, triple takeouts, run backs being made regularly. So that kind of speaks to the level itself, I think.
Yeah, that's really good. And so, what is the loss of that competition, the Gay Nationals this year? Obviously, because of COVID. What sort of an impact has that had on you? Not being able to get out there and compete with people that you compete with sort of every year?
It's sad, obviously, but I think the Gay Nationals actually happened in Vancouver back in January this year. So so they did have a Gay Nationals this year. But in Ottawa, we obviously lost our regular recreational Bondsfield over the rainbow. Mm-hmm. So I think people were pretty devastated that we weren't able to host it because it was supposed to be at the end of March, and right up until mid-March, everyone was really excited about it. And it kind of just, all of a sudden we weren't able to curl anymore. And it's, like you said, it's like a gathering every year. It's like an annual gathering because we usually have 36 teams in the Bondsfield. So a lot of people come together. We have a good time. And we use that opportunity to kind of see everyone that we haven't been able to see throughout the year. Because during the regular league, we have 40 teams this year. Wow. So 5 divisions. And we have 3 draws, so a lot of times we don't actually get to see everyone. So the Bondsfield is kind of like a chance for us to actually get to see everyone. So obviously it's a big loss this year that we couldn't do that.
Yeah, I was thinking back to last year how it was in March in Ottawa, and I forgot that in Vancouver they have theirs a little bit earlier in the season. I actually worked at the curling club in Vancouver, and I remember the weekend that the Rainbow Bonspiel was on was one of the biggest ones for the bar in terms of sales.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
We like to drink.
The only time that the bartender tipped me out for helping her lug beer. So it was definitely good. Last question for you, Daniel, is let's say somebody like me or one of our listeners wants to come out to the Bonspiel to watch. What sort of an atmosphere can they expect when they go to the club?
Just overall, it's really fun. Everyone is welcoming. You can go in and you can expect, just people drinking, yelling, having a good time. I think it's always pumping in that place, whether it's an 8 o'clock draw in the morning or a 10 p.m. draw at night. Just go in, expect to have a good time. No one bites in there, so don't have to be scared to go in. and it's free, and there's always good curling going on. So yeah, it's a fun time. I would encourage everyone to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd echo those comments too. I had a great time there watching some curling last year. So, Daniel, we want to thank you very much on behalf of myself and Sean, who is having some tech problems today. So he handed off the interview to me, but hopefully you had a good time being here and telling us all about the Gay Nationals.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad I have the opportunity to share my experience with you two.
So there you have it, Scott's conversation with Daniel Ng, and of course we thank him for his time. Good job, Scott.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm not the interviewer on the team of the two of us, but I must have learned a little bit from you over the years.
I thought that was really good, and Daniel's a great guy. Super fun to play with him when I've had the opportunity. So definitely appreciate him taking the time to join us.
Yeah.
Now, Scott, let's go back to last year at the Ottawa Curling Club. We had the chance to talk to one of the organizers of the Spiel, and she had a lot of great things to talk about why the Spiel exists and why these clubs are important at curling clubs across the country. Because I remember you told me a story once, I think we included it on the show last year, where the question was asked when you told someone you were going to the Spiel, someone asked you, why do they do that? Like, why is that necessary? And certainly there was a story on Sportsnet, the big read this week on Sunday was about John Epping. And one of the through lines of that story was whenever he talks about his sexuality, people are always like, why do you have to talk about it? And I thought she had some really good things to say about why it's necessary for these Spiels.
Yeah, it was an interesting conversation for sure.
Yeah, so let's go back to March 2019, our discussion with one of the organizers of the 2019 Gay Nationals. Okay, now we're upstairs here. Natalie Lloyd joins us. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're the coordinator to the stars.
There we go, coordinator to the stars. I like that. There's a lot of stars in here today.
Yeah. So for you, what is sort of this process like to put all this together?
This has been a labor of 2 years worth of work. So last year, while I was doing the normal rec Bonspiel, coordinating that, we were also on the back end coordinating this because right now we're hosting Gay Nationals as well as a rec tournament called the Over the Rainbow Bonspiel. So we started this 2 years ago, getting like venue set up for the banquet because all 172 curlers are going to be dining together in a few hours from now and getting that arranged and decor and all that.
I'm glad I'm not in the kitchen for that.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
172 top.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound pleasant.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of fussy eaters, hopefully. Not too many.
So you say like it's been a couple of years, but so the national event goes around.
It goes around. So every 8 years we get it. Now there's been 2 more cities added to gay curling, so we'll get it every 10 years now. So the next time we have this will be 2029.
Okay, so it's not like a bid. It's just an automatic.
It's an automatic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so for the logistics then, this combined with the like, how much more work is it?
Well, we have to get more sponsorship. That's the main thing, is we need the money because unfortunately gay curling doesn't have a bank of money to say, okay, you're hosting nationals, here's $5,000 to help you out to get started. So we had to look at securing some more sponsors for this year at a higher level than our normal rec tournament. And then the banquet itself is, because normally we have it here during a regular Bonspiel, and then we just do 2 sittings. But for this, the curling stops, and we all go and we have a big meal together. So we're actually going to the Ottawa Police Association and having our banquet over there. So the main thing is also getting the ice, getting the schedule, because you're not coordinating one Bonspiel, you're coordinating 2 Bonspiels at the same time. And they're 2 different systems. The Nationals is a double knockout, but now because there used to only be 8 cities, so everybody got 2 seats. Now we have more than that. We have 10 cities, so people have to rank in a certain level to secure their 2 spots for next year. If they're too low down, they only get 1 seat.
Nice.
So we had to develop a way this year to rank everybody from 1 to 16.
Right.
So we're the first group to have to do that. So we've set up a system, and we'll pass it on to Vancouver, who's hosting it next year, to help them out. And
So that means even more games and like more
Yeah,
time
so
you need,
what-
more sheets.
And what's nice is, like, last year, you could be on the national team. You were out there for Thursday, and you're out on Friday.
Right.
And there's still it's a 4-day bonspiel.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, especially if you're flying
Right?
across the country.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know, and spending hundreds of dollars, if not close to $1,000 for travel, food, accommodation,
Sure.
and everything. And a lot of these teams that are here, they don't have like sponsorship from their leagues or that, or their league might just cover their entry fee.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's it. The rest, their travel and everything is up to them. So there's a lot of committed curlers who are here, and also it's the vibe, right? It's like you're getting to come to gay curling, and everybody here, we get the corny little jokes and inappropriate comments that we make on the ice and off
Sure,
the ice, and
sure.
everybody gets to be who they are. Like if they want to go up and hug their partner or embrace each other and hug, nobody's like, what's with those two men hugging? It's like, well, they're two men hugging, and they're looking like they're having a great time.
So yeah, so we've talked to a couple of people about that community vibe
Yeah.
of it. But it seems like with the elite, like sort of the national level,
Yeah.
it's a lot of the same guys and girls come back a lot, and there's
Yeah.
a community there.
Yeah.
But at the local sort of that grassroots level, what does it mean, sort of the annual spiel?
For the
People
annual
come-
spiel,
yeah.
for the rec spiel, it also gets people the chance to really test out their curling legs, so to speak, and build their skills.
Yeah.
Because you're guaranteed on the rec side 4 games.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
For a spiel.
Yeah. So that's if you get knocked out right in your first qualifier.
Right.
If not, you could be playing up to 7-8 games.
Right.
Right?
Which like I would not be prepared for.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
I don't know if I would be prepared for that. And so if you're a beginner curler, bonspiels are the best way to really enhance your skills, because it's not now once a week, and over these 4 days you're hitting the ice, you're playing, you're getting to this like, oh, I couldn't get my draw weight, and that's okay, you're back on in a few hours, so you can
Right.
figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you also have to deal with and figure out how to deal with the sore muscles and play through all that. And,
Yeah. Notice a lot of stretching
a lot of
downstairs.
stretching
a lot of
is
stretching
happening.
going
Yeah,
on.
yeah. The hardest thing to do, I've tried to secure. I managed to do it for 2 years, to have a massage therapist here, but very difficult to do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year I'll have some luck at doing that, but it just kind of fell to the wayside with everything else that you have to get organized.
Right. And how would you situate the caliber of play? Obviously, sort of the over the rainbow, as you mentioned, a rec league.
Our rec league, but still a lot of good competition happening at that rec league. A lot of intermediate and a few competitive teams. Looking at the pools that we have this year, I would say there's maybe only a few true novice teams here. And the rest of them, they're not quite ready for nationals, but they're still good competitors on the ice.
And what about the national level? What
National
level
level,
would these
you're
teams?
seeing some more difficult shots. You're seeing some excellent skills of in the strategy of the game itself. There's a lot of great curling happening, you know. And then you have some teams that you know are going to be difficult team. Saskatoon, they're a new league, but they've come out in their first year in nationals, and they show like, hey, they're here to play.
Right.
They're ready, you know. They might
I mean,
be.
it doesn't hurt they have a Briar player on the
Exactly.
on
It
the
doesn't.
team,
It doesn't
you know.
hurt at all.
No.
You know, Ottawa. We have. Taylor was defending the title, right? Unfortunately, he got bumped down, and that just shows the caliber.
Sure.
Nobody's going to come in here, and it's nobody saying, "Oh, that city's going to walk away with it."
Right.
And that's the nice thing about nationals, right? Because it sucks to go somewhere and you know who's going to get it right away. Where here we have some fantastic competition happening. You have some shakeups that happen, and you're kind of going like, wow, like there's a lot of some of our time delays that have happened over the weekend is ties at nationals. You can't have a tie.
Sure.
They have to go an extra end.
Yep.
Right. So we've had quite a few 9-end games happen. So yeah, that's impressive.
It's real tight competition.
Real tight competition.
Yeah, which when you're playing that many games is the last thing you want is to play.
And
an
the
extra
ice,
hand.
the ice has been a little bit challenging for some of the players because it has a lot of swing to it. There's a lot of curl.
Yes.
And that makes it interesting because then something that's buried all of a sudden is no longer untouchable, because if you figured out the curl on the ice, you could get to that buried stone.
Yeah, and I do know, like as a member here, that they
Yeah.
did do the rocks.
Yeah,
Before,
just a few weeks ago.
Which really screwed everybody up. Like
I liked it,
the
actually.
shooting percentage
Yeah.
just the first game back went
Yeah.
way down
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
So just in general, for you, how do you gauge this event in terms of a success? Like, it's like for you,
It's
what
been
makes it-
fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's all of the legwork from the committee. It's not just myself. I don't put this together alone. I have a group who meets. We start meeting in October, and we meet right through. We'll have a wrap-up meeting after this. There's 7 people on that committee. There's over 20 some odd volunteers who are here this weekend who are helping out. 2 members stepped up and said, hey, we would like to have some different entertainment options for this Bonspiel. I said, fantastic. I don't know the entertainment. They organized all of the entertainment for the Thursday night, Friday night, helped with getting the DJ for tonight, and then they have an after for Sunday for those people who are still around.
Wow.
Get together and continue the celebration. The banquet itself, which is a huge piece of work, and I recommend it to the other cities who are hosting next year or hosting soon, get a group who will just take care of your banquet. It's like I've had 4 volunteers, one who's leading it, completely dedicated to that, and they just give me updates.
Right.
So
the
I'm
key,
not
right?
involved in it,
Yeah.
right? It's like I'm not in there mucking my fingers in it saying, well, no, I want it this way, I want it that way. You cannot be the coordinator and be a control freak.
Sure.
I'm going to control the things that I can, and the rest of it, I'm just going to trust it. The other thing is we've been doing this for years now. I'm the coordinator for this Bonspiel this is my 5th year, maybe 6th. I think it's for sure my 5th. And there's certain things I just know now. It's like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. Like I have a member of the league who donates all the chips for us.
Oh,
And it's
there you
like,
go.
so
Yeah.
there's all my chips for after the games
Yeah.
that go out on the table, right? It's like, so it's all these little things that add up, but they all come together and it just works beautifully.
Yeah, and so far so good.
So far so good. Like people are happy.
Fingers crossed. And
Yeah, it's like the ice play's been good, and just the way people are gathering and communicating and having fun.
so there you have it. That's Natalie, one of the organizers, and certainly our thanks to her for that conversation. A great insight, Scott, I thought, into what's going on as the birds fly by me there. What's going on with a lot of these spiels across the country?
Yeah, absolutely. Really good convo, and a lot of thanks to her as one of the organizers of the Bonspiel here in Ottawa. It's a lot of work to put on a Bonspiel, we all know,
Yeah.
but
Especially
they do a
that
great
one.
job.
Yeah, like where you have, because as I said earlier, the regular spiel runs in conjunction with the nationals, and that spiel in particular, Scott, it has the big banquet on the Saturday night that takes place off-site. So you lose Saturday night in terms of scheduling of the games, and you have to book a place that has enough room for all the curlers from out of town. Then the local curlers, you have to think about, hotel blocks and all sorts of stuff that on a normal weekend spiel you might not have to worry about. But the logistics of that one are pretty insane.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that very fact attests to the success of the Bonspiel, right? The curling club is pretty big, and there's not enough space for everybody to come in. So that's why they have to take it off site. So really great job by the organizing committee.
Yes, and as you say, the success of the spiel, it runs every year, and here in Ottawa, obviously the league, the Rainbow League that runs on Sunday afternoons, huge league. It runs, I think, 4 draws now. It's gotten so big they have to run a bunch of Saturday nights as well. Just a huge league, which has led to a lot of really good curlers, including a former champion of the Nationals, Joey Taylor, who you might have seen if you follow any of the Team Homan players or the Team Homan account itself. Joey is a frequent contributor, or at least referenced a lot. He's close to a lot of the players, and they're all friends. So you might have known him from that, but a national champion curler on his own, and we had the opportunity to talk to him as he attempted to defend his title. So we're here at Joey Taylor, defending champion at the Nationals. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So you won last year, and it's your second time winning,
Yes.
right? So what does winning this event entail? Like in terms of caliber for a club level curler like us and a lot of the listeners, like where would you rate it?
I'd say the competition's pretty good. We won first time in 2011. I think the competition has gone a lot better as the leagues have kind of matured and the players have kind of put more effort into the nationals. So it's grown a lot as an event, so the caliber has grown as well. So where it would fit, I would say probably a good competitive league, like a week league.
Yeah, like a cash league.
Like a cash league,
good
exactly.
cash league,
Yeah.
So like maybe like what's that one out in, is it in Edmonton at the
Saville
the Saville Center, like the crazy good club, like that league that people talk about, like the Super League.
The
in
Super League,
Edmonton?
so maybe not that one, and the Ottawa also has a strong cash league on Wednesday, so maybe more like the Thursday men's league if you're going to compare to those than the cash.
Okay, but what's the difference? Because I know the team you're playing with now isn't the team you normally play within the Rainbow League here. So how do you go about putting together a team for it?
So our Rainbow League here, so a lot of the member cities, this is their full-time teams that they play with. The Rainbow League is a bit more social and a bit more fun, so I think this team would be too competitive for that. So it's not the kind of the mandate or the role of the league is to have that. It's just to gain like more curlers in. So we go about, we play at a few bonspiels around the area. So there's gay bonspiels in Toronto that we try to go to, and then we'll try to get a few games in on our cash league to prepare for the event.
And for you guys, like obviously this year this is your home club, so you know it's easy. Like, but when it's out in Vancouver, or where was it last year that you won?
In Calgary.
So like there's expense in that, and there's investment. So how do you go about trying to put that together and arrange it?
So we kind of know the schedule in advance. So then we kind of plan for it in advance. So we try to get flights early, try to get the hotels early, so that kind of helps with the cost saving. Our league actually, if you qualify, pays your entry fee, which is about $500, so that also helps a lot. But the rest is kind of up to us. We don't have any sponsors or anything. It's not that kind of level of curling, so we just try to prepare in advance and plan the best we can.
What kind of player are you? I know Scott and we've played against you before, so we have an idea, but sort of where do you think your strength is as a player? Like, what's your strategy and approach?
For like
in curling, just in general.
So I think I'm a better hitter than a drawer, but with the 5 rock rule, I've kind of had to practice more on that kind of soft game, and especially in this. So this is probably the event that we play that's the most competitive. We also play in the challenge in Gatineau, which is another big event, as a warm up. So those teams, you can't just hit your way out of things. You have to play a bit more finesse shots. So we've kind of practiced and got better as the year's gone on.
Yeah, that challenge in Gatineau, there's good teams in that.
Quite a good spiel, that spiel, eh? So that's a pretty good tune-up for you compared to most other teams. Do you think other teams are doing the same kind of preparation as you are, or is it more they're coming from their local league to this event for fun?
No, some teams actually take it very seriously. I know the Manitoba team here from Winnipeg actually made it to provincials, men's provincials at Tankard. So some of them take it very, very seriously, even more than us.
Yeah, but with all due respect to them, like 800 teams make it to the Manitoba Tankard. Like I feel as though I could make it to the Manitoba Tankard. There's so many teams in that thing.
Yeah.
And just broadly, I mean, so what is the community here? Like it seems like a lot of people come year after year, and people know each other from across the country. Like, so what is the community vibe?
So it's a really good vibe, especially if it's grown over the years. So it's a lot of familiar faces that you see year to year, and that's basically the most part of it. The best part of it, seeing your friends from across the country that you don't usually see. You see them once a year at nationals usually, because everyone comes together, because it brings everyone together. So, yeah.
And do you think it resonates outside of the event itself? Like, so you have these leagues across the country. I know there's 2 new entries within the last couple of years, 2 new cities, which were, what was it, St. John's?
St. John's and Saskatoon.
And Saskatoon. So 2 new entries, so these sorts of leagues are growing. Does it have a larger resonance just in general, with just the larger movement for, obviously same-sex marriage legal here for a while, but still there's sort of issues with just general acceptance and people being, not jerks.
Yeah.
And like, do these sorts of things help, do you think?
I think so. I think it's important to have more diversity in the sport in any way that you can. And of course, the gay curling has grown from a lot of member cities to now include Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, St. John's. New Brunswick is I think Moncton is trying to open one, and now there's one in the States. So it's kind of like grassroots. It's really grown a bit broader.
Right. Yeah, the glitter spiel, the glitter bomb spiel in DC, which I gotta say, the photos from that were crazy, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Sure does.
I have to say. So overall, when you play in this though, like, what is your expectation? You mentioned there's a good community, but you're also the defending champion. Mm-hmm. Like, when you come in, is it sort of we see what happens, we have fun, or do you have like a
sort of I want to win.
Yeah, so
mentality.
this is our Briar essentially, right? So we're here to win, obviously. We put a lot of time and practice in it for this event. There's lots of bonspiels across the member leagues across the year that we go to, so those are more for fun and social. This one, although it's fun and social, everyone's here to win if you're playing nationals.
All right, sounds good. All right, thanks, Joey.
Thank you.
So our thanks to Joey Taylor, and we should update Scott that this year out in Vancouver, they lost the final to one of the host teams out in Vancouver, but a solid performance from Team Taylor getting to another national final. Nothing to sneeze at there.
No, for sure. And we should give a shout out to the champions for 2020, as you mentioned, from Vancouver, Steven Schneider and his rink. Yes,
from all accounts, a very nip and tuck game there in the final. So it could have gone either way.
Yeah, well, I'll get the full story from Lee one day next time we see him.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to bump into Lee. Lee Mantha plays third on that team but calls the game. Bumped into him around the city last week and got a detailed account of what happened. So next time you see him, Scott, you can get the full rundown of that game. So that'll do it for this week. I just wanted to make one quick point or one quick news update that the World Curling Federation did announce the 2020 Europeans in Lillehammer and that they will take place with fans.
With fans, wow.
Yeah, so that's a piece of information for November. I'm sure that is more of a hopeful announcement in terms of the fans than specific will happen. But just a bit of an update there, as the World Curling Federation certainly has to run these events for Olympic qualification, because the Europeans qualifies you for the Worlds and the Worlds qualifies you for the Olympics. So there's a straight line there.
Yeah, there is a straight line between those two. And Sean, I might be in that part of the world in November if all things go well. So maybe I'll see if I can swing on by.
There you go, buddy. Get you a media pass, get you in there, get talking to Hasselberg and Muirhead and Tirinzoni.
All the greats.
That's right. Yeah, let's just name all the teams who are going to be in the field. So just wanted to give that little piece of update, but that will do it for this week. If you're listening to this on the day we're dropping it, happy Canada Day, everybody. Hope you're all celebrating and enjoying in a responsible and safe manner.
Yeah. We wanted to make sure to wrap up Pride Month as well with a little bit of content related to that. We didn't want it to go by without us acknowledging, really, because we were thinking about it the whole month.
Yeah, absolutely. So well said, Scott. And to everybody south of the border, have a great 4th of July weekend. Same thing. Revel, have fun, but do so in a safe manner. Certainly not just related to the coronavirus, but, drinking and driving and all the normal things that go along with big parties. Just do so responsibly, be safe, and everybody can have a wonderful 4th of July down south of the border. And for those of you in Europe, have a great weekend.
Yeah, wear a mask, everyone.
Yeah, so that'll do it for this week. We'll be back with you next week for another new episode. If you have not yet, please do subscribe to the show on Apple, Google, all the other places where you get your shows. Give us the likes, ratings, comments, helps other people find the show, and keeps us going. You can follow along on social media as well at Game of Stones Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Scott's there at Scott Likes TV, and I am at the Sean Graham. And of course, join us on Facebook on Mondays for our chats with the guys from Rocks Across the Pond. This week we talked about sports video games, and there was a baby on the show.
Yeah, we had a celebrity sighting.
Yeah, it was very exciting. So all those videos, since we moved to Facebook, are available on the Facebook page. So just go to Facebook and Game of Stones Podcast. You can also find the roundtable that we did with Aria Moore and Portia Stevenson and Jason Chang about diversity in curling. The video of that is also available on the Facebook page. So do check it all out. And of course, if you have any ideas for future episodes or any just feedback in general, you can get in touch. Game of Stones Podcast at gmail.com. So Scott, happy Canada Day.
And to you, Sean.
And to everyone out there, we'll be back with you next week. But until then, keep your brooms on the ice and don't dump that intern.
make the final.